world edges closer to the end of October as Cybersecurity Month. Tech and security experts advise that automation has to be augmented more with human talent and verification to increase surveillance on potential attacks. NTV's in-house techie, Brian George, reports on how attackers have leveraged AI and what needs to be done to counter cyber attacks.
As the world warms up to and adopts artificial intelligence, cyber criminals have also stepped up their game by deploying artificial intelligence in their operations, a development that now heightens threats to businesses, government systems, and by extension, security.
We are seeing a lot of advancements in different types of attacks, looking at attacks like business email compromise. So these are attacks where people are able to leverage social engineering in order to exploit existing relationships with organizations to commit different types of fraud and malicious activities. So with the advent of things like artificial intelligence and large language models, so attackers have been able to leverage this to be more efficient. And globally, there's been a big increase both in the size as well as the sophistication of business email compromise accounts.
Interestingly, business email phishing has shifted from targeting blue-chip companies to small and medium enterprises who now bear the risk of exposure, ostensibly due to minimal expenditure on cybersecurity. The phenomenon now driving partnerships with third-party tech and financial institutions to fortify SMEs' systems against cyber attacks.
Surprisingly, you might think the first thing they were very concerned about was security. Okay? Now, that may not immediately come to mind, but think about it. If you've worked hard to generate your inflows or your wealth to that point, the last thing you want is to see that evaporate from a lack of security.
Certainly.
Okay? So when we looked at Connect Plus, we had a previous platform, Connect. This wasn't about an upgrade. This was about a complete redesign that we had to engineer. Think about it. If you were an SME, security and flexibility, on-the-go type functionality, being able to have an omni-channel type presence. If I'm at a computer, on the phone, it's the same experience. All these things matter to SMEs and personal banking customers.
With the advent of artificial intelligence, cyber criminals have perfected mimicking business system patterns, mostly targeting financial and operational records. This information is then used to train their unethical AI models to take advantage of loopholes and launch attacks.
While the speed is coming in,
correct,
I think one of the most critical aspects of most of the customers' concern is speed is good, but is it secure? It is like you're on a racetrack and you're driving a F1 vehicle at 320 kilometers an hour. So that is fascinating. But is that vehicle safe in case it hits a roadblock? Is the driver safe inside? So we have the same philosophy. While we are doing this process of continuous innovation and making things better for customers, security is paramount. To make sure the data of the customers is secure. So all necessary guardrails are put around the data to make sure the data remains secure in the premise of the bank. And all the time the custodian of the data is the bank.
Industry experts hold that automation only is not enough. Demand for global cybersecurity talent to counter the ever-growing threat of attacks has risen sharply. For instance, as cloud computing use increases, there's a need for cloud security engineers, a tech subsector that's least sought by many but presents a rewarding career path in technology. Brian George, NTV, Nairobi.